Cassini's final image, the anomaly NASA never explained. It ended at over 76,000 miles per hour. Its body torn apart, molecule by molecule, in a fiery descent that, from the very beginning, was intentional. Cassini's end was not an accident. A deliberate dive into Saturn's atmosphere, designed to protect the very worlds it had revealed to us. But before that final fall, Cassini took one last photograph. A frame that, at the time, seemed like nothing more than a blurred farewell. Dark. Grainy. Almost unreadable, as though the spacecraft somehow knew its end was near. NASA archived it. The world moved on. Until now. Because that final image has just been reanalyzed by a new kind of intelligence. And what it found has left researchers without words. A faint distortion on the lower edge of the frame. Not a glitch. Not Saturn's swirling clouds. But something else. Something that doesn't belong. Something solid. Something that doesn't move with the wind, but stands against it. What did Cassini see in its final moments? And why has no one dared to speak of it, until now? Cassini wasn't just a machine. It was a monument. A testament to what we can do when patience meets precision. Launched in 1997. 7 years through the void before it reached Saturn's icy domain. And when it arrived, it danced. For more than a decade, Cassini skimmed the surface of Enceladus, dove between Saturn's rings, swam through the shadows of Titan's methane seas. It sent back whispers of alien oceans, water plumes that hinted at microbial life, and storms larger than Earth itself. But masterpieces must fall eventually. And when its fuel ran low, and fears grew that it might contaminate one of Saturn's moons, NASA made a final call, a controlled descent. A final plunge. On that last orbit, as it dipped into Saturn's upper atmosphere, Cassini kept its eye open. Cameras rolling. Instruments humming. Until, silence. The final image was dismissed. A low-light blur. Saturn's shadows half lit by its rings. No detail. No revelation. Nothing of note. Or so they thought. In 2024, a quiet research group began feeding old space imagery into a revolutionary AI, a model trained to reconstruct low-visibility frames, recover lost contrast, pull clarity from chaos. When they reached Cassini's final image, they expected noise. They found something else. A shape. Curved. Defined. Consistent. It occupied the lower left quadrant of the frame, just along the edge of Cassini's descent. It wasn't a flare. It wasn't digital corruption. It wasn't Saturn. As the image passed through filter after filter, its contours sharpened. Its symmetry disturbed even the most hardened analysts. There were edges, angles, density signatures resembling metal. The AI was confused. It had been trained on tens of thousands of cosmic objects. But this, it could not categorize. Even more chilling, the object did not move. Between frames taken seconds apart, it remained perfectly still. Waiting. And then, the signal cut off. Abruptly. Earlier than projected. NASA's original model predicted several more seconds of data. But the transmission ended midstream. Atmospheric interference? Timing glitch? Maybe. But now, with this image in hand, another possibility emerges. What if Cassini encountered something unexpected? Something real. Something solid enough to change its fate. In declassified logs, unearthed only through Freedom of Information Act requests, one detail stands out: anomalous deceleration prior to signal loss, brushed off at the time. Explained as turbulence. But that explanation is now unraveling. Why wasn't the anomaly reported publicly? Why was the final image labeled inconclusive when the raw data showed a clear? Some say it's caution. Others, a cover-up. Because if the object was real, if it was there all along, then Cassini didn't just fall into Saturn. It was intercepted. The AI model didn't just enhance the image. It triangulated the coordinates. Using Cassini's descent vector, orientation, and timestamp, it calculated the anomaly's exact position in space. Cross-checking that data with known maps of Saturn's satellites, ring systems, and atmospheric features revealed nothing. That space was supposed to be empty. But it wasn't. And when earlier Cassini images were fed through the same system, a new pattern emerged. 6 earlier frames, captured years before, held faint distortions in the same sector. Invisible to the naked eye, dismissed as static or electromagnetic noise. Now we see them for what they may have been, a presence. A ghost signature, perfectly still, hidden in the haze while Saturn spun beneath it. Not an appearance. A revelation. As the findings made their way through secure academic circles, theories began to form. Some physicists suggested a naturally suspended mass, locked in an unknown gravitational equilibrium. Others were more direct: it's artificial. Not from Earth. Not from now. But the darkest theory? That it was waiting. That the anomaly knew Cassini was coming. That it allowed one final glance, just enough to be seen. Not enough to be understood. A warning. Not a revelation. And then, the journal hosting the image went dark. Maintenance, they said. But mirrored versions revealed internal metadata. Review pending external clearance. A phrase used only in classified contexts. When the image was reposted on independent forums, accounts sharing it were flagged within hours. Despite the image being sourced directly from NASA's public archive. Whistleblowers now claim that the agency doesn't deny the anomaly, they simply don't understand it. And in science, admitting you don't know can be more dangerous than staying silent. Especially if silence is protecting something we're not ready to confront. Cassini's final gift to us wasn't just a blurred image, it was a riddle. A whisper from the edge of what we know. A trace of something watching from the dark. Something that let us come close, but no closer. We believed Cassini's legacy was complete. That it had shown us everything Saturn had to offer. But maybe, its greatest discovery was never in the data. But in the silence that followed it. And now we have to ask, what else have we missed? What else lies buried in the noise of our past? Because if that final image is real, if something was there, waiting for Cassini, then we are not alone. Not even in our own solar system. And the question is no longer if, but why? Let me know if you'd like a version with added sound design cues, voiceover directions, or broken into scenes. You said, give these lines to me line by line but without counting in non-copyrighted ho. ChatGPT said, absolutely. Here's your cinematic, non-copyrighted version of the Cassini mystery script, delivered line by line and reworded into non-copyrighted, original English. It fell at thousands of miles per hour. Its body unraveled, atom by atom, in fire. A planned death from the very beginning. But before it was gone, Cassini captured one final frame. A farewell not of clarity but of feeling. Dim, blurred, a whisper in darkness. As if the spacecraft somehow knew the end had arrived. NASA archived the image. The world moved on. Until now. Because that last photograph,